What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of HBCU Huddle. I am CJ Hurt, joined alongside, as always, by Mike Wallace. Mike, how's everything going, man?
Man, it's going great. It's big time Memorial Day weekend. This is one of the biggest.
I didn't even realize it was Memorial Day weekend.
Man, that's how much we've been grinding, for sure. For sure. We've been grinding for sure. But this is one of the best weekends. It lets you know summer is here. It's time to break out the grills. Not the grills in your mouth, but the grills on the grill.
Well, it's time to break them out. All the grills, the charcoal grills, the propane grills, the grills in your mouth, the grills on the front of your car. It's summertime, baby. Everybody come out.
Hey, did you get your patio straight though? Because I know the front is cool. You were telling me you were doing some additions to the back though, to get the shading right.
No, I have not done that.
We got to get that right. It's Memorial Day weekend, man. It's time. It's time.
It is time. It is time. The next check, Mike. Because I'm one of them paycheck to paycheck brothers. Next check, I think I'll be able to grab some type of an awning or some type of umbrella situation to put out there. We saw some real nice ones in the big lot. Let's set the show up, Mike. We got a great show to get to for the people. We are going to discuss a couple of great culture makers.
Hold on, man.
What?
Did you say the big lots?
The big lots.
Did you put the and the S at the end of it, man?
Well, first off, it is Big Lots. That one is legit an S, is it not? It's not Big Lot. Now you got me confused.
I'm wondering. But I know it's not a the in front of it.
No, it's not a the. We put the in front of everything.
Or an S at the end of it.
It's Big Lots.
Okay, all right.
Shout out Regular Jacob letting me know there's an S on the end of it.
All right, okay.
The illustrious. So why not throw the and illustrious in front of Big Lots?
There you go. All right, so that's what we had.
Okay.
That's what we had.
So couple of great culture makers. We got a rare double dipper in our culture maker segment this week, so we'll talk about that. We will also take a look at your pick six this week. Some of your, what are we calling it? Your favorite HBCU campuses, your most beautiful HBCU campuses. So we're going to talk about that as well, plus so much more. First, Mike, softball wrapped up. The softball season ended. Had a couple HBCUs in the tournament, and then a couple of them get bounced just as quickly. Prairie View A&M had it. Almost had one. Almost got in over Omaha and advanced to the next round. Just wanted to give a special shout-out to those ladies at Prairie View A&M and at North Carolina Central for going out there and competing at a high level against some of the best teams in the nation.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about coming in as a lower seed, you're going up against the regionals host, basically, essentially, in both of those situations. And I want to say, Prairie View and North Carolina Central were the two teams, and Prairie View was close, right? I mean, it was a 3-0 game, right?
Yes.
So they were within, an inning of being able to get on the board. But again, when you talk about quality depth and quality pitching, it's just hard for HBCUs to keep up in terms of the talent disparity. But they showed up and they competed, and so both teams got shut out. Neither team scored a run. I think the Central lost 8-0, and Prairie View lost 3-0, if I'm not mistaken.
That was their final games.
Yeah,
both of their final games.
Right,
now,
right.
You're, like you said, you're going up game one against the host.
Yes.
And the host is the host for a reason. They're nationally ranked. So your first game is against the number 5, 6, 7, 8 ranked team
in the country.
In the country.
Yeah.
And so they went out there. I do believe North Carolina Central was with Georgia. Everything
they were within the Georgia regional, and Prairie View was in the LSU regional, right?
Okay. Yeah. And so you go out there first game against those two powerhouses. It's hard to keep up for anybody. So just again, special shout out to those ladies. Keep it going. We look forward to seeing what you do next year. On the men's side, the baseball tournaments have gotten started. The SWAC tournament started Wednesday. Grambling State is the favorite, I would assume. If Vegas had odds on that, Grambling State would be the favorite. Mike, what do you think? Is this Grambling State going to come out of here with the SWAC championship?
They should. They have one of the strongest baseball programs in all of HBCU. I never count out Bethune-Cookman. I'm not sure which teams qualified if all of the teams qualify, but Bethune-Cookman is typically one of the stronger baseball programs. They have been in the MEAC. They would get there time and time again. So wherever MEAC is, if they have qualified, I would say that's the for me that's the dark horse in terms of being able to do anything. But Grambling is at the top of the seedings right now, and hey, I mean that's my Grambling State University, so I'm gonna go with them. I love the fact that they changed the venue. They got away from Alabama, and they're in Atlanta now. So
Rush Chandler Stadium.
Yes, it's a little bit more of a hey, everybody can get here. It's more of a community type park. And I think it's a destination. And it shouldn't be a problem getting people to Atlanta for Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
Heck, I'm gonna be there. Friday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, I'm out. Friday afternoon, I'm out heading that way. And if the SWAC is still going on at that point, it might be cool to try to check out something. Check out the championship round. So I'm gonna be there for the Atlanta Jazz Fest.
Okay.
And if the SWAC is still going on Saturday, Sunday, I might try to catch a SWAC game while I'm there. So
if you can't get to Rush Chandler Stadium in Atlanta, you can watch on the SWAC digital network.
There you go.
So they've done a good job of making this available for people, not just from a travel standpoint, but from I'm gonna be here Memorial Day. I want to catch it. You can watch on the SWAC digital network. Mike, your pick 6.
Yes.
You sent this to me. I was like, oh boy. Where's he gonna go? What's gonna be on his list? Are there gonna be colleges on my list that are on his? The overlaps, campuses. Most beautiful campuses, most beautiful HBCU campuses. Mike, that's this week's pick 6. Let's get it started. Inverse order, starting with number 6.
And you want me to lay it out? And I will say this as a caveat to it. Number 6 is Maryland Eastern Shore, and that's a gem of a campus out there in the Eastern Shore region of Maryland, right off the sort of the coast there. They don't have football, so it's not like one of these schools that naturally comes to mind. They're not as funded as well as they normally are funded, but because of the location, and it's considered, if you're from the D.C. metro area, that's the party school that you go to. And Maryland Eastern Shore has always been a hidden gem to me because of location and because the type of students that get in there, and they really, really have a lot of fun on that campus. And the reason why this is my pick 6 this week is because now you get a chance to go out and take your nieces, nephews. CJ, you do this all the time.
Yeah.
Take your loved ones to an HBCU campus. Schools are out now, so the campuses are pretty much a little bit empty, but you can get in and get off the campuses and really see what these campuses have to offer. So I'll explain more about the list later, but that's number 6. Number 5, coming up after that, obviously it's going to be a theme to what I'm doing here, and I saw it at the end in terms of where I was, but Howard University is number 5. People are going to look at my list so far and say, hey, I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm geographically biased here. But in terms of impact, where you are in the nation's capital, the investment that Howard University puts into its students and in its university, the wherewithal to be part of the federal government branches of businesses, all of the universities that are in the D.C. area, and the quality of life and living in that area, with Howard located right at the utopia spot in D.C. Howard's campus is one of the greatest campuses you're going to find, bar none, HBCU or otherwise. I'm going to go there from Howard, number 3, number 4, Alabama State. When I came south, and I had my college visits, Alabama State impressed me the most among facilities for athletics. I was on basketball recruiting visits, and Alabama State had a coliseum before a lot of HBCUs had coliseums. I'm not talking about the gym bleachers where you're sitting on one side or another. They had the wraparound coliseum. Football stadium is there. The political influence that Alabama State has in the state of Alabama is one that I don't think gets covered enough. So there's some influential people in Alabama State. It's a metropolitan campus right in the heart of Montgomery. I love Alabama State. If you have a chance to take your loved ones there for a visit, check out Alabama State. A lot of history around that city, around that campus as well. Martin Luther King and the Montgomery bus boycott. Alabama State's campuses were some of the places where they had some of those early meetings. So that's there. Number 3, the fastest growing, biggest HBCU we have in the country is North Carolina A&T. The Aggies are doing it at a level where they're taking the best of black culture, they're opening up their doors to other ethnicities, and they're saying, hey, we're a HBCU, but everyone is welcome here. We want the biggest and the brightest and the best. When your enrollment is approaching 14,000 as an HBCU, you're doing some big things. The good thing about A&T in Greensboro is that they've matched their money with their investment in their students and their campus. And that campus continues to grow. It continues to be a great business partner for both Greensboro, Charlotte, and the greater North Carolina area in the Carolinas. Number 2, to me, pound for pound, Hampton University is the most beautiful black college campus that I've ever seen. Pound for pound. It's a small, intimate space. It's in the Virginia Tidewater area, so you got the coastal. Virginia Beach is 15, 20 minutes away. You got the Power Center in the upper East Coast in Washington, D.C. Baltimore area is within a 2-3 hour drive. Hampton is just a carved out oasis in the middle of Virginia, man. And I love Hampton and what the academic standard at Hampton plus the campus picturesque, scenic. They have a little river that flows through there. I mean, it's just all in all, pound for pound, the best college campus, most beautiful. And number one, I'm giving them the Sunshine State edge, Florida A&M. I've spent more time at Florida A&M, any other school other than Grambling. Florida A&M, I've spent more time at Florida A&M than any other place other than Grambling State, my alma mater. The power, the influence, the entertainment value, everything that they're putting into that university, how it's situated on the highest of 7 hills in Tallahassee, the political influence of being in the state capital, the alumni base, the vibe when you're on the hill and on the set. Man, Florida A&M is a beautiful, beautiful place. It's in Florida too, so you get the Sunshine State kicker to it. That is number one. My top 6, my pick 6 most beautiful, best HBCU campuses. There are a couple of honorable mentions, and we'll get to those on the other side of the break. But I want to hear what you think. And again, this isn't, me downing your university if it's not on the list, but this is just my list. Grambling wasn't even on there. I went to Grambling, and they weren't on my pick 6. So that tells you I was neutral on this as much as possible.
All right, like Mike said, we're going to talk more, get into some honorable mentions. I'll offer some suggestions, some schools that made my list, and we'll talk more in depth about the schools on your list next up on HBCU Huddle.
The summer concert experience of a lifetime.
My name is Erica Badu.
With the Grammy Award-winning Erykah Badu.
He gave me the life that I came to live.
Erykah Badu, like you've never seen her before. The music, the vibe of Erykah Badu with special guest Yasin Bey. The Follow Me Tour with Erykah Badu. July 21st at FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Can't be quick, can't be tied. Can't be tied. I be in a loop, she be in a group. Brody with her friend, throwing alley-oop. Turn something to nothing, bro, I'm living proof. How can I lose when we the who's?
This is the Nike Air Footscape Woven. So this is kind of a lifestyle running shoe.
Yeah. That's sold out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
These have resale value too.
Oh, those have resale value on them.
Footscapes are comfortable.
Footscapes are so
I love
comfortable.
Footscapes.
They're so
comfortable,
comfortable.
light.
They're hideous to look
breathable.
at, but they are so comfortable.
It's a cow.
Yeah, it's they're comfy.
The
Just
top
not that
area.
one. Don't look at that
top
particular
area.
one.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The soulful and powerful voice. Two-time Grammy Award winner, Lauren Daigle. September 6th, FedEx Forum. The Kaleidoscope Tour. Tickets are on sale now at laurendaigle.com. Lauren Daigle, live in concert. Produced by AEG Presents.
I knew you were a FAMU guy, right? But I didn't know you were part of the Marching 100.
Marching 100. Shout out to the 100. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's big time, man. Speak to that and being part of that. One of the you talk about the history of bands in college. I mean, you talk about the Marching 100 is one of the best.
Absolutely. Dr. Chipman, Dr. Julie White. Shout out to my section leader, Ralph. That was an amazing experience, man. It taught me a lot of discipline, and it taught me brotherhood as well. Coming up with my freshman brothers, we went through a lot, and it just, man, that whole process taught me a lot. It taught me how to struggle. It taught me how to get over the struggle. And not only was I in the marching band, I was also in a dance crew, FAMU Strikers, who went off to do America's Best Dance Crew. Shout out to Mr. Shapower Hardiman, the founder. That also taught me rhythm. They taught me how to dance. I didn't start dancing until college, which is crazy, but I seen the ladies loving the guys on stage dancing. I'm looking around, I'm like, well, maybe I need to start dancing. You know what I mean? So I get on YouTube and I learned how to dance within a year, man. And the rest has been history.
That was Woody McClain. He played Bobby Brown in the New Edition biopic. He reprised that role in the Bobby Brown biopic. Also been a background dancer for Chris Brown and other artists. And right now he is Kane in this season of Power, this chapter of Power, the hit show on Stars. You can catch the full interview with he and Donald Ware at boxtorow.com or on Sirius XM Radio.
Man, when you look at, movers and shakers, and we talk about culture makers and things of that nature. So first and foremost, we didn't get a chance to set it up before we came in from the break, but to back up a little bit, that's Donald Ware. He's not a friend of the show. He's a brother of the show. We have Donald Ware on all the time. That's family. The curator of the HBCU National Coaches Poll and Media Poll, but he also does a Sirius XM radio show simulated across the country, simulcast across the country, and also Box to Row. So he had Woody on the Woody McClain as his guest this past week. So catch him in the full interview with Woody. I every time I see him, I think Kane and I think Bobby Brown, because he's done such a phenomenal job in both of those movies that we've seen, both of those documentaries and movies that we've seen. But he's also former Marching 100 band member at Florida A&M University, which is why I thought it was special to kind of cross-promote and clip that out so you guys can see that. But Woody's one of the best up-and-coming. He plays a phenomenal role in Power. He's the brother that's kind of crazy. Yeah. He's the enforcer of the family, that kind of thing. And to see he and Mary J. Blige on the set together doing this thing on Power, man, is really a wonderful thing. So kudos to Donald for lining up another headline culture maker for his show, and we'll continue to do this periodically, get some of his guests and cross-promote there. But yeah, check out that full interview on boxtorow.com and wherever you can get Sirius XM Radio. Find Box to Row. Donald would definitely have you hooked up.
Absolutely. Brought up Woody being a part of FAMU's Marching 100. They were your number one selection, even after you said how beautiful Hampton was.
Yeah.
What's the difference in the two? Is it just Florida?
The difference is Florida A&M has the weather all year round.
Okay.
So they get the edge because it's a destination state in terms of where you just want to let loose. Even though Florida A&M is in Tallahassee, which is 2.5 hours from the beach in Jacksonville, but you still have Panama City, Florida, which is right there 40 minutes away. You can still get to Pensacola Beach within 2 hours. Florida A&M's campus, as you see right there, is just picturesque in terms of the history, the upgraded amenities. What's my man Packard? Will Packard is an alumni there, big-time movie maker, producer, entertainment mogul, put some money back into that university. I mean, it's just, look, I worked there. I covered Florida A&M for 4 years when I first got started in HBCU football coverage. My daughter is a graduate there. She also is pursuing her PhD there as we speak. So I'm familiar. Two of my oldest twins were born in Tallahassee, so I know big time what Florida A&M is all about.
Hampton is a campus I would love to get to.
Okay.
I haven't gotten there, and I can't put it on my list because I hadn't gotten to Hampton. But to see the pictures with the water in the background or in the foreground, I can't imagine walking on the campus and seeing all of that. It feels like it would be breathtaking, like literally awe-inspiring to be on that campus with that type of scenery around. Real scenic.
Yeah. I mean, I can't look. It's one of the schools where if I had to do it over again, I didn't even give Hampton a second thought when I was coming out in D.C. I wanted to get away from the East Coast. But when you look back at Hampton and even Norfolk State, but Hampton was one of those destinations. I don't even know if I could have gotten in, SAT-wise or whatever. Basketball would have been my only hope, but that's a beautiful campus, man. And I know a big time alum from Hampton, including some we have in this very building.
Yeah, absolutely. I booed a little bit just because the Tuskegee in me.
That's true.
Alabama State, but you're right. Like it is, especially for it to be as urban as it is, just Alabama State's campus is gorgeous. Yeah. And the things around that campus, the Legacy Museum, isn't too far away. And that is one of the better museums, one of the best museums I've ever been to. And you get to walk on Alabama State's campus with all of that history, all of that knowledge, all of the experience of those who came before you. You feel that, and then you look at it, it's like, oh, these facilities are really, really good, really, really nice. When I see Alabama State alum and we do that playful, I hate you, you hate me type of thing, it is always our facilities are much better than yours. And I don't have a comeback for that. There's nothing I can say. Nothing I could ever say. Tuskegee, they're trying to raise money to put lights on the football field right now, so maybe we'll get a night game or two one day. But yeah, Alabama State's facilities, they were top-notch when you were coming through, top-notch when I was coming through. They're still top-notch. Hats off to them.
Yeah, I mean, just the political influence too. So when you look at, when you look at 1, 2, 3 of those schools on the list right there, Howard, Alabama State, and Florida A&M, they are all located in nation's capital or state capitals.
Yeah.
So that gives you a little bit more oomph in terms of political power that you have to get those resources to your campuses. Alabama State, man, it's just, and that's not just like Huntsville. Alabama A&M is a beautiful campus, and Tuskegee has some things there too.
Alabama A&M's campus would have made my list.
Yeah.
And I would have had, because I hadn't been, East Shore would have been off, and Hampton would have been off of my list. But Alabama A&M went down there to watch Jackson State versus Alabama A&M a couple years ago, 1-2 in the polls. Jackson State absolutely went out there and crushed them. And I'm driving. I was like, oh, campus must be close. Here go all these cars just parked on the middle of the interstate, because that's how they do. Not interstate, highway. Parked on the middle of the highway, because that's how they do. And I'm driving like, I wonder how I'll know where Alabama A&M is. That is beautiful over there on my right, though. What is that? That's Alabama A&M? What? Beautiful campus. It almost wrecked my car. Like, wait a second, hold up. That's A&M. So A&M would have been on my list. I would have also had Tuskegee on my list, just to talk about history. Tuskegee, all of these schools, first off. All of them, because of the nature of being HBCU, have tremendous history, but it is so rural. It's just country. And I don't know. I've never been in any place more secluded in country than Tuskegee, and it is gorgeous. And you step out of your dorm room middle of the night and just look up, you see all of the stars, because there's no light pollution. There's nothing else. There's nothing around there. You can get that. Now, imagine you can get it in rural campuses like Alcorn State as well, where it is just, you're just so far out into the country. Grambling, another one where you can get Prairie View A&M. I imagine you might be able to get some of this, where it's beautiful facilities. And when I got there, they had just finished the bioethics building. And so that was state of the art. And since then, they've added a couple of other buildings to it. They've gotten rid of some of the blighted buildings as well. And by gotten rid of, they've renovated them. They didn't tear them down. They updated them. They renovated them. We got the beautiful statue of Booker T. Washington lifting the veil of ignorance as well. So Tuskegee would have been on my list. Also, am I leaving somebody out? Howard, I had pictures of me and my wife. We went to D.C. We spent the week there. We did a whole day in, what is it, Anacostia?
Anacostia is across the river, though.
We did
the day in Anacostia, and then came over to Howard.
And Howard. So we started at Howard. Uncle Ben's is down the street. Ben's Chili Bowl. Went to Ben's, went to Frederick Douglass's house. So we did a day over there.
That was in Anacostia. My church is over there, man. Union Temple Baptist Church, man. That was my church. That was my area. And when you talk about just the political influence and, Charles Drew and the Howard Hospital, Malcolm X and Bayard Rustin debating on Howard's campuses, all the way up through Puffy and Biggie doing homecoming concerts when Bad Boy was just being launched at Howard's campus. Shy coming through, doing their video, one of their videos, because they were for college students who went to Howard. Just where it is, the political influence, and it was just too close, man. Like, I literally could just be at Howard's campuses in 4 minutes, 4 miles from my home where I grew up at in D.C., and it was just too close. I had to get away. But Howard is one of those destination institutions, no matter what.
I feel the same way about Fisk.
Fisk,
I loved Fisk campuses. Fisk campus, excuse me. And it was up the street from the house. I can't just go to Fisk. I'll never leave this damn city if I go to Fisk. Fisk also, and again, not only are the campuses great, but the community around the campuses are awesome as well. BU at Houston by community. Listen, let me be honest. The food around the campuses are awesome. Be it at Howard, Ben's Chili Bowl is right there. You're in Houston, you're at Texas Southern. Well, hell, you walk up the street, this is it. is right there. Oh, the food. I follow them on Instagram because I'm a fat ass, and I just like looking at the pictures of the food. Fisk had, so Tennessee State, Meharry Medical College, Fisk, they're all in the same area, right off Jefferson Street. Jefferson Street used to be home of Knockout Wings.
Okay.
And I think, I hadn't confirmed it, but rumor has it that they ended up selling the building in Nashville doing their urban development, gentrification, whatever we want to call it. They ended up selling the building for like $1 million.
Yeah.
And you got to do that. Like you just have to. I don't know if they've opened up another wing spot or if they've just taken the money and ran. I take the money and run. They have the best wings I've ever had, and complimented by, you know how you get a piece of bread with your wing? You get a roll or a biscuit or something like that. They had these glazed biscuits. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And it was glazed with like it's
got to be honey butter.
It's got to be honey butter.
It's got
to be honey butter. But it was almost like the stuff you get that you put on top of a cinnamon roll out of the Pillsbury can.
That kind of. So it was a sweet glaze.
Oh, it was a sweet glaze. I could go just for the biscuits.
That's almost like a dessert.
Yes,
on top
it
of the
was.
wings.
And then you get the fruit punch with it. Like you asking to get your foot chopped off,
you
man.
talking about the carbonated fruit punch soda or the fruit punch Kool-Aid?
Fruit punch Kool-Aid that they made from scratch. You leave there ready to chop your foot. You're like, yo, I had way too much sugar. This sugar crash is gonna be legendary. It's gonna be epic.
You say amputee coming.
Yeah, it's coming. You feel it. You feel it. So Fisk is on there because of the campus library is gorgeous. Library at Fisk, and then you got the art history there as well. So Fisk will be on my list also. And then you throw in, not anymore, but Knockout Wings being walking
part
distance.
of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mike, I love this list.
And I do too, man. And it's one of those things where that list could have easily had gone to 10.
Yeah.
And we still would have left some people off. I had 2 honorable mentions that I did want to give a shout out to. Savannah State made my list too, man. When I went to Savannah State, I was impressed because I love the city of Savannah.
Okay.
And the way where it is geographically in Georgia, and just it's a beautiful. You're not too far from downtown Savannah, and it's just a wonderful area down there. So Savannah State gets an honorable mention from me, and I also want to give Southern. Right, it was either going to be Texas Southern or Southern, but Southern gets overlooked because they're in the shadow, literally. I think FAMU has done a better job of making sure they carve out what they need resources-wise up against Florida State.
Yeah.
I don't think Southern has done as well of a job politically in Baton Rouge, right across from LSU. But it's still, they deserve a lot of credit, man. And Southern is one of those campuses. And you talk about the combination of beautiful places and beautiful people. Yeah. Southern University, man, has some of the most beautiful personalities and beautiful visual people that I've ever seen on any campus.
All right, if you got some that we didn't mention, some beautiful campuses we didn't talk about, hit us up. I'm at Conradicalness on Twitter, at my Mike Check on Twitter as well. Let's go to our Culture Maker segment. We got 2 of them, Mike, to get to. The first one is Nancy Lieberman. She brought her dream courts to Memphis. The Nancy Lieberman, one of the greatest hoopers of all time, regardless of race, gender, religion, whatever. That is her. She is a great basketball player. She has the Nancy Lieberman Charities. They build basketball courts called the Dream Courts in multiple cities across the country. I think we have a map of those where they are as of yesterday. They want to make basketball more accessible to kids as well as to provide a safe environment for kids to play. Dream Courts provides children in underprivileged communities an inexpensive recreation alternative, a safe place to play basketball, interact socially, and learn the importance about teamwork and good sportsmanship. This serves as an impactful avenue for leaving a lasting legacy which benefits low-income, at-risk children. Since 2010, when she started this initiative, they've built over 120 Dream Courts around the nation, going all the way from Hawaii to the mainlands, man. It's great, and it's great to have one of those in Memphis.
It is, and when you saw that map a few seconds ago, this was the only one in Tennessee so far, right? The only court, only place. She chose Memphis to do this, and she put down roots here in Tennessee. She's also one of our sports legacy honorees this past year. She was a 2023 Earl Lloyd Sports Legacy for the not the university, but the Memphis Grizzlies in the NBA, what we do during MLK weekend. I had a chance to sit down with her, spend some quality time with her. We had dinner with her. We were also in the suite with her when she was honored with one of those legacy awards here during our MLK weekend celebration game. And she just talks about the history, her place in the history, and giving back and making sure that she creates other avenues, whether it's to female broadcasters who are trying to get into the game. One of the things she does now, she's on Oklahoma City's broadcast team for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and she wants to open up avenues for more females to get into the NBA. From that standpoint, she's been on the bench as a coach. She's been, a Hall of Famer as a player. Just everywhere she's gone, she's been a legend. And to do that here in Memphis as a culture maker, man, race, gender, economic status aside, she wants everybody to have a place in this country within this sport. So kudos and shout out to Nancy Lieberman. She's a heck of a human being, man, and we love her so much here for that.
Great interview with Jessica Benson on the Jessica Benson Show. Hell, maybe we link to it. Maybe not link to it. Maybe we just attach it to the end of this. Just have that thought. Just attach it to the end of it, end of the episode, so you can go back and listen to it if you missed it. It was a great interview. She shared a lot of tidbits, talked about her relationship with Muhammad Ali, how that friendship was born, and so much more. It's so good. So that's what we'll do. We will attach that to the end of this, and you can just, if you're done with the show, you can just bypass it entirely. But if you want to hear what she had to say, just keep listening. We'll have Nancy Lieberman, our second and final culture maker this week. Tina Turner, sad news. She passed away Wednesday. Well, the announcement was made Wednesday. I'm pretty sure she passed away Wednesday. Tina Turner, one of the great musical acts of all time. And what she meant to a lot of people. And she meant a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You just can't say enough about how great she was and what her life and legacy is in this world.
You can't, and she's also a local product too. I mean, the Tina Turner house, hall, I was about to say House of Fame, but her museum is 2 exits up from once you get outside of Memphis on 240. I'm on I-40 going towards Jackson, Tennessee, and you could just take a quick trip up there, and I'm sure that they're going to get a lot of, especially this weekend, holiday weekend. Hopefully there's some traffic going out that way to visit her childhood home area. I remember seeing What's Love Got to Do with It. I remember seeing how that resurrected her career and how she always was in shape and fit. This is one beautiful woman. She's endured a whole lot. We know the travesties and the financial, emotional ruins that she went through in that relationship with Ike Turner, who's a Stax guy. So a lot of their story took place in and around Memphis. So this hits home. And for her to be, I didn't realize she was 82, 83 years old. So she's lived a phenomenal life. Her final years were over. She expatriate and ended up living in Switzerland in a major big-time ranch area. So, she lived a full life, man, and kudos to her. There's going to be one hell of a concert up there in heaven, man, when you talk about some of the legends that have passed in the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, you could argue Tina Turner's going to close for him. That's just what
somebody's got to close.
That's just how great she is, man. And it's never too late to leave a bad situation. Tina Turner left in her 40s and had a phenomenal second career without Ike Turner. And that was something that, we didn't think was possible. She changed. Jessica brought this up as well. Tina Turner changed the way we thought about age, changed the way we thought about the aging celebrity. Tina Turner is winning Grammys, 8 of them after 40, running the Grammys. And up until that point was, if you're a woman, once you hit 40, like you're done. You're done. That's it. And Tina Turner came out and said, no, I've got more to say. And I'm going to take control of this. And not just as a woman, but as a star. I am a star unlike any other. And you think about the impact she had on rock and roll. You could draw a straight line from Tina Turner to acts like Mick Jagger. And if you can draw a straight line from Tina Turner to Mick Jagger, you can draw a straight line from Tina Turner to whomever your favorite rock and roll artist is. You can draw a straight line from Tina Turner to any of the new acts that we have from a female standpoint, be it Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, wherever you want to do it, Janet Jackson. You can draw, like Tina Turner can be your genesis, and you can see, oh, they got this from Tina. They got this, the performance style, the dancing, the singing, wild dancing, the move. All of that is from Tina Turner, one of the great show people in music, in the music industry. And it's sad to see her go, but man, she lived a great life while she was down here.
No question about it, man. Well said, brother.
All right, that does it for us. That does it for this episode of HBCU Huddle. We'll be back next week for more. Go back and listen to previous episodes. Catch me on the Jessica Benson Show. Mike, you got a column coming out?
We're going to get ready for the draft coming up in a couple of weeks, but we're going to get through the finals and see where it goes from there, man. And, I got some stuff coming soon.
All right, that'll do it for this week's Huddle. Thank you guys for listening. For Mike, I'm CJ. Everybody take care. What's going on, everybody? CJ here. Like I said, we are going to attach the Nancy Lieberman interview that Jessica Benson did on the Jessica Benson Show earlier this week. It's a great interview. In it, Nancy talks about her relationship with Muhammad Ali. She has a poignant message for Ja Morant, and there's so much more. Enjoy it.
We are super psyched to be joined by a true legend today, Nancy Lieberman, Hall of Famer, two-time national champion, first two-time National Player of the Year, two-time Olympian, the second woman to serve as an NBA assistant coach, championship-winning coach with the Big Three. She does it all. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me on Grind City. I love Memphis, by the way. Can I say I watched Elvis's movie like 8 times?
8 times? Nancy, that is a long movie.
Fascinated by it.
Have you always been an Elvis fan?
I respected Elvis tremendously, but I think what hit home for me when I watched it the first time, and you guys, CJ, you guys know me, is his respect for the Black and brown community, the reverence, the relationships, how people work together, and just, his strong faith and, being so great, but he had a lot of humility and humor. I was just drawn to that.
Absolutely. Well, you love Memphis. Memphis loves you. We had you in studio back during the MLK Day celebrations. You were one of the National Civil Rights Museum Sports Legacy honorees this past year, and we kept saying, we got to get Nancy back on the show. Perfect timing, because you were going to be back in Memphis. We talked about you working with NLE Choppa to refurbish a outdoor basketball court at American Way Park, and that is now set to open. How excited are you?
I'm super excited, but I just want to make a correction. It's at Raleigh Community Center.
Raleigh Community Center, all right.
Powers Road in Memphis. We do that on Wednesday at 4 p.m. We'll cut the ribbon and we'll have city leaders, Choppa, myself, talk about why we're opening up a dream court. It's our 122nd dream court that we're opening up at Raleigh Community Center. And I couldn't be happier to be doing this with Choppa. He's older than me, so I want to help.
So tell us about how that relationship formed and how you guys came together here to do such a cool thing in Memphis.
Well, we actually met at the Big Three championship game where my team Power was playing Trilogy last August. And at the after party, he was sitting down with his mom, Angie. And I walked over with a friend and just plopped down like I normally do. I embarrass people. And I'm like, thank you for coming to the game and tell me a little bit about yourself. And people were kind of looking at us, side eye, like, what are these guys talking about? And he was telling me about all the things, I had asked him, community things, book reading, hours upon hours of encouraging young people in the Memphis area and everywhere for that matter to read and to really be literate and get an understanding. He was 19 when I met him. He's 20 now. He's an amazing young man. He dropped a song, you guys probably know, Champions. And one of the coolest things, and I've had a very blessed life, when he was on the phone with me and he says, Mama Nance, I want you to be in my video. And I was like, excuse me? He goes, I have Floyd Mayweather. It was when I was there during MLK Day and you guys were honoring me with the Civil Rights Award. And Chapa came back from filming with Floyd Mayweather, and he goes, I don't want to just have strippers or hookers or women hanging on a pole. I go, I can do that too. Okay, don't totally sell me out. I have skills. And he probably looked at me like this crazy white lady. But he goes, I would love for you to be in my video of champions. And he came to Dallas a couple months later and we filmed. I had some other champion athletes, women with me. It made me feel so good. And he did a concert in Tel Aviv, and my son TJ was with him. And they had a chance to have dinner together, with the family, with Chapa's mom and dad. And they treated TJ as if he was their son. It makes me feel good.
You've opened a bunch of these dream courts around the nation. You said this will be 120 for you, and I wonder if that desire to open up a bunch of outdoor courts stems from when you were a kid playing at the Rucker. What was that like playing at the Rucker, and what impact did that have on you going forward as you went through your career and into adulthood?
First, Dream Court is what it is. It's a chance to breathe. It's a chance to dream. It's a chance to make friends with people that don't look like you. It's really a pop-up classroom where you get to express yourself, critical thinking, inertia, being able to be a great teammate and make lifelong friends, which is what happened to me in my childhood at 11, 12, 13 years old, playing every week at Rucker Park. And the fact that, my brothers and sisters protected me, even though I didn't look like them. And I think too many people in this world are trying to divide us. And I don't want to be divided from the Black, brown, and poor community. I want to be a part of your community. And that's why I'm a, racial social justice, activist for you. I mean, we need to do things together. Nobody can do anything by themselves. So the Dream Court, like I said, is a pop-up classroom. We have educational programs where you might be a little nervous to do something maybe like I hated to raise my hand in the classroom because I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want people to laugh at me, but then I didn't want to get into a fist fight because my feelings were hurt. So this gives you a chance to, STEM or financial literacy or career readiness, civic engagement. Learn what your civic people are doing and get an understanding of it so you can decide, is that something I like or is that something that I'm not interested in? But this court will be here for over the next 40 years. So I want to thank Chapa and Ellie, because if he doesn't agree to do this with me, maybe we do a court, but it doesn't have the impact. I want to thank the Grizzlies, the Hyde family, everybody for their support, and the city for rallying around us to make this happen. And my friends, I have to tell the story, if you will.
Go for it.
At the championship game, when I sat down with Chapa, this is what I dig. I had two friends with me, Jack Adlita, he's 85, he was 84 then, and his wife, Diane Adlita. They're the most incredible white people that I believe really have never been around the Black community. They're from Dallas. And the Adlita Corp is a flowing company. They're all over the country. And when Diane Adlita sat down with Angie and with Ellie Chapa, it just gave me chills that a 74-year-old white woman was so engaged with this young man and asking him, she fell in love with him. And her husband was so excited. And they're the ones who funded this court. They've done 3 dream courts for us around the country. They wanted so bad to do this court in Memphis. So I have to give props to the Adlita Corp, to the family, Diane and Jack. And, I sat with her and I told her, I said, when you see Chapa, you say, that jewelry, that's drip. And when you see him, you say, isn't this event dope? And you're going to hear that on Wednesday. And Diane calls me. She goes, is the jewelry dope or is the jewelry drip? She's so excited about just getting together again with Angie and Chopper's daddy. And so little by little, right? Drip, drip, pour, pour. Maybe we get to bring people together and change how we view each other. Right?
I love that. And I love that you're bringing that experience to Memphis, and the idea of a basketball court operating as a classroom is just perfect. There's so much to be learned there. And I'm curious from your experiences and going back to those days at Rucker Park, is there a specific memory that you have that led to a lesson being learned that you still carry with you to this day?
The lesson that I learned is respect everybody but fear nobody. And that is something that Muhammad Ali taught me over and over and over again during my time with him. And sometimes people are so afraid that they look at failure, they don't see success. Look, I was that poor kid in New York with no food, no father, no electricity, and I could have been a victim of my circumstances. So if there's some people, families in Memphis that are in hard times, I know that it's been a difficult time also with law enforcement. Let's try to have some good faith and take a high road and work together and make change together. That's what I look at every day. What can we do together to change? And, I might be crossing a line here, but I do want to tell Ja that I love him. I don't know him well. We've shook hands, but I'm praying for him, and I'm praying for his family, and I'm praying for the Grizzlies, because I know down deep he's a good man. And I just hope that he's able to, figure this out. Life is hard for young people. So I'm on Team Ja, and he has my prayers.
Nancy, we wanted to get you back, wanted to talk about this court because it's an amazing initiative, truthfully. But like Jessica said, to start this, we didn't get into everything in your personal life with you when you came here the last time. We were so focused on the day and the what that day means, what MLK Day means. But you sat here and you did it again. You just casually dropped, oh yeah, when I was friends with Muhammad Ali, one of my very good friends. How did that relationship get born? And then what was it like? And what were some lighthearted moments that you got to share with the great Muhammad Ali?
Well, thank you, CJ, for saying that, because it just makes me happy to talk about him. I had 37 years with him. And I was 10 years old when I was really hopeless and helpless. I didn't know if I was going to kill you. I didn't know if I was going to kill me. I didn't know if I was going to join a gang. I was a hot mess. I was just angry. And I was angry that people were telling me, you're never going to make anything of yourself. Little girls don't do this. It's the same thing people hear in the community, the black, brown community. You can't do this. You can't do that. And Ali, I saw him on TV, and he said he was the greatest of all times, and this is what he did. So I fell in love with this mythical figure at 10. And that was the time that I decided I am going to put all my effort into being the greatest of all times. And I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs, I didn't do anything. I was not a great student, but I did know that I needed to stay focused and disciplined. And if you were doing something, sometimes I had to cut ties with you. Didn't mean I don't love you or care about you, but I'm not going to jail. I'm not doing certain things that you're doing because I need to get out of my hood in New York City, in Queens. I get a scholarship to college. I make the United States Olympic team in high school. And matter of fact, on August 12th, my 1976 Olympic team is being inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame with Dwayne Wade, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, Becky, Pop. I mean, I've had a lot of love in my life, but some of my teammates have gone unnoticed. And for the 76 Olympic team to be inducted with that class is super exciting. So, I guess I get to be a two-time Hall of Famer, but I'm more excited about my friends. So I go to Old Dominion University, and of course, everybody's the naysayers. I don't hang around negative people, by the way. They don't resonate with me.
And at the time, Nancy, Old Dominion wasn't a power, right? You could have gone anywhere, and you chose to go to Old Dominion.
Well, I had 100 scholarship offers because people saw me at all the USA tryouts my junior and senior year. That's 1975 and 1976. And so it was almost like the coaches were right there, and it was like America's Has Talent. And I got to audition in front of all these coaches and committees. So I get this, and I decided that I'm an underdog. I mean, everybody thinks, you know, that I suck anyway, and that I have no life and I have no meaning. So I decided I was going to go to a school that had the worst record. And Old Dominion was like 6-29. And my vision was, I'm going to go to a school, I'm going to put my thumbprint on it, and we're going to be a champion. And people are like, you're an idiot. It's not going to happen. Well, Old Dominion goes, you know, we went 125-15 in my 4 years. My last 3 years, we were 104-6. My last 2 years, we were 72-2. We won the NIT my sophomore year, 30-4. My junior year, we go 37-1, win our first national championship. And my senior year, we go 35-1, and we win our second national championship. So I'm two-time player of the year in college basketball. I'm asked to go back to New York City to do an appearance for the New York Stock Exchange as a fundraiser for the Olympics, USA Olympic team. I go to New York. I'm going up the escalator at the Stock Exchange with my mom and my best friend Barbara, and I asked the guy. Now, I was fake. I was a fraud, but I was hiding behind Nancy Lieberman, the basketball player. We go up the escalator, and I go, yo, like, who's the other athlete? And he goes, we're going in the green room. I said, who's the other athlete? And he goes, Miss Lieberman, we're coming in the room now. And I said, can you just answer, you know, New York tough. Can you just answer my question? Who's the other athlete? And he goes, it's you and Muhammad Ali. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff, right? The door opens, and it was like Oprah's, and the light was glowing over him. And I was like, I think inside I was saying some words that I will not use on your show. Because I was like, and I went away, and my mother went up to him, my little 5'3" heavy mother from Queens, and she goes, Mr. Muhammad, how are you? My daughter is the greatest of all times. And he says, lady, there's only one greatest of all times, and it's me. And she goes, no, Mr. Muhammad, I know you're good, but my daughter is the greatest of all times. So he asked me to come over. I cannot breathe. My heart is pounding. He looks at me. My head is down. And he says, your mom says you're good. And I'm like, Mr. Muhammad, I'm the greatest of all times. And he goes, there's two of us? Yeah, there's two of us. And I beat up people all the time because they irritate me. And he goes, Nancy, I'm going to ask you to stop hitting people. I said, you hit people. He goes, I get paid to hit people. He goes, I am going to ask you not to hit people anymore. I will not leave your side. And he starts talking to me, and he's like, come back to the Plaza Hotel when we're done doing this appearance. I want to talk to you. We spent 4 hours at the Plaza in New York City, and he taught me about racism. He taught me about, you know, how Black America feels sometimes about the color of their skin, how they feel maligned and not respected, and a host of other things. And I looked at him and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, all my friends are Black and we have such a good time together. And I looked at him and I went, Mr. Muhammad, my friends are hurting? I didn't know this. It broke me. Because we were inseparable. I mean, I can go into any hood, I could go into any project. Mom would feed me, they'd treat me like family. And I was stunned. Like, I didn't know we were like really poor because we were so happy together. And he filled in like blanks. He taught me about philanthropy. And then he hit me with, you're going to shake up the world. You're going to change the world. And I'm like, well, I have a game on Monday. He goes, I'm not talking basketball. He goes, Nancy, God made you special. And I looked at him and I went, you know God too? You know everybody. wow, that's amazing. And he's like, I am not leaving your side.
That's
I mean, I was just so like stupid. And from that day, December of 79, until we buried him almost 8 years ago, coming up June, he was there for everything. And then like these last 15, 20 years, I would get to fly to Phoenix, be with him, hold his hand, tell him how much I love him, thank him. He knew I was going to coach in the NBA before I knew. He came to my first game in Phoenix. My team, my DeMarcus Cousins and Rondo and Rudy Gay are like, what's the champ doing here? And Rondo goes, that's coach's friend. Talking about street cred. Took pictures with people. And I am just so grateful that, he said, don't go. He said, Nancy, there's two people in life. There's givers and there's takers. And I would like for you to be the giver. And I was like, okay, he's giving me like the answers to the test. So really, I'm just a reflection of the man who molded me. That's why I'm coming to Memphis. That's why I actually give a crap about Ja. That's why I love Anchapa and his family. People are going to go, how's this 64-year-old white woman friends with this young, rapper, entertainer? Well, you know what? It's none of your damn business why we're friends. We are. And there's love and there's kindness, like there is with Cube and all these other, Ice Cube and all these other people in my life. I'm your person, and I'll fight. I will fight for the community. Not with my fists anymore, but I'll do that too if I have to. But I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to fight for equality, and I'm going to fight for civil rights. We just lost Jim Brown. Jim was one of Ali's friends. Look, I'm in the foxhole, and I'm not afraid.
I think it's incredible the way that you put it. He filled in the blanks for you, and everyone could use someone to fill in blanks that our own individual experiences within this life don't allow us to be privy to some of those blanks. Not everyone can say their blanks were filled in by Muhammad Ali, though, so I think that's a pretty special place and a special perspective to come from. We could listen to you tell stories all day, truly, and maybe one day we'll just block out Grind City Media Nancy Lieberman power hours, because I feel like we could go forever. But I did want to get your take. There's been so much made of, at this point in time, LeBron James, phenomenal, 38 years old, still playing the game. I was watching the Phoenix Mercury over the weekend. Diana Taurasi, 40 years old, still playing the game. For you, you continued your career. You weren't in the WNBA because the WNBA didn't exist until you were 39 years old. And so you play then, you come back when you're 50. What do you have to say to people who make so much out of the age portion of great athletes' conversations? And then also, how much respect do you have for these stars who still have so much to give at this point in their lives?
I love that you brought that up, because I'm so proud of what Sue Bird did, and Taurasi saying I got 2 more years left. The Tom Brady's, look, I don't worry about the team or the logos. I look at the person. When Deion went back at 37 years old, Deion Sanders, to play, for the Ravens, and him calling me in the middle of the night, like, sis, you got to come to the house. You got to talk to his wife at the time, because she doesn't understand. She was married to Deion. She wasn't married to Primetime. So I'm so proud of what LeBron has done. The game the other night, he's unbelievable. I mean, love him, don't love him, it's okay. He's a great father. He's a great humanitarian, businessman, husband. He's done a lot. He's done a whole heck of a lot. And what he's done on the court, how he's taken care of his body. He's giving people a roadmap. And, he has people like Tom Brady. When I played at 50, one of the first phone calls, of course, Deion knew, because Deion and Muhammad were part of my decision to come play at 50 in the WNBA. But one of the first phone calls I got was from Kobe Bryant. And then when I was going back to TV with ESPN and I had the Laker game, Kobe and I sat by ourselves in a room at the practice facility for about 20 minutes. I felt like I was in a think tank with him. He wanted to know how I felt mentally, physically, emotionally. Did my body hurt? When did it hurt? Did I sleep well? Did I not sleep well? How did I train? Was I afraid? Was I not? I mean, and he was just gathering data for him. It was amazing. And he's like, yeah, Vanessa and Natalia, we watched you play. And I couldn't believe you would put your legacy on the line. And I just told him, I said, the most important thing is I wasn't afraid. I was very respectful. I trained like a wizard. I mean, I trained my behind off because I knew I had to be physically ready. And the great ones do that. They, everybody's seen Air. Everybody has seen Last Dance. Everybody's seen LeBron. Go watch Muse, Kobe's show about when he was coming back from tearing his Achilles. I'm a fan of greatness. I love biographies, Serena and Venus and Martina and some of the greats in all sports, Tiger. It's right here. The great ones are right here. It's a different, I'm going to throw myself in there. We're different animals. And if you have the dog in you, that's powerful. There's some people that don't have the dog in them.
Is there
and when you lose your dog, you lose your ability to compete at the highest levels.
Yeah, I'm curious because you get it and you say, there's just a difference there. Is there a young athlete today that you look at and say, oh, that's the next dog, that's the next one who's going to be a part of that group?
Yeah, I think Sabrina Ionescu is unbelievable in what she has been able to do as a young player. Obviously, we saw, I want to throw out some, Hall of Famers like Tamika Catchings, Maya Moore will be a Hall of Famer. They're just different. They were built different mentally, and then physically they knew how to take care of their business. But, the W is loaded with incredible gatekeepers, of the game. And I just look at all the amazing players in that league. It's in great hands. Okay, I went to the Wings, Dallas Wings, Saturday opening day, and Enrique.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Enrique. I started out with Gigi's jersey, the Mamba jersey that Vanessa sent me with her shoes, so I was Mamba'd out. And then I threw Enrique's jersey over after. This woman, the greatest compliment you can get, I believe. I'm sure, somebody will start blowing up your hotline with their opinion that I'm not interested in. But I think that if women play like men, then that's okay. When people say you play like a boy, it was like, thank you, I appreciate you. And Girl Good is getting so much better. And when they say that you play like a dude, I'm super cool with that. So if there's any groups out there that want to contact me and berate me, feel free.
You'll send it straight to voicemail. It's okay. We get it, and we'll support it along the way. For you, seeing the growth of the W, and I think CJ was about to lose his mind when you casually mentioned your phone calls with Deion Sanders.
We don't have enough time to get into everything. We got, Miss Lieberman, we got to get you back.
CJ, I got to get a picture of Prime and Ralphie. I have to.
Oh.
He's afraid of Ralphie. Seriously afraid of Ralphie. I wasn't supposed to say that, okay?
It's okay.
But he is. We breathe the same air. If something happened to me, my son would be his son. We got about 25 years in. I went down to Jackson State last year to watch him. I had headsets on. They wouldn't let me call plays, which kind of annoyed me. But but I'm going to go down there and see Coach Prime, make sure the duck is okay, the Aflac duck is okay, and he hasn't gone into the portal, okay?
I want to do a show with you where it's just Nancy Lieberman does other people's jobs. Like, you could be a music video star, you could be an assistant coach to Deion Sanders at CU. I feel like we could make quite the list, and you would tackle all of them tremendously.
I am ridiculously blessed, seriously, and really to know you guys and to have this relationship and to be coming to Memphis. I'm telling you, I'm excited. If you see me around 11 o'clock, 11:30, I'm going to be in the Peabody. I'm going to be talking to the ducks. Okay. It's just a little personal thing. I love animals. I'm going to waddle like them.
Duck master.
Yeah, I'm a duck.
How have you not been a duck master? I feel like we have to make this happen.
People have probably called me something similar to duck, but I'm okay with it. Okay, I gotta stop. I love Clyde family. Sorry if I'm irreverent. I apologize in advance.
The more irreverent, the better. Nancy, we will have to get you back to discuss all your life stories again. We could have you so many times, but for this one in particular, we're so grateful that you are making the connection, or did make the connection with NLE Choppa, and that you are bringing your 120th Dream Court to Memphis. The city is lucky to have it, and we cannot wait to see it. Have a wonderful trip to Memphis, and we'll have to see you next time.
Thank you. And again, I want to thank everybody from the Grizzlies. And I do want to thank Jack and Diane at Lita and at Lita Corp for loving on Memphis and NLE Choppa. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nancy. We'll see you next time. That was the great Nancy Lieberman. And it's so funny, as she was talking, CJ, before we got Nancy up on Skype, I had a phone call from Nancy Lieberman, and I casually just said, "Hello, this is Jessica." And I found myself having a very professional conversation with Nancy Lieberman. And I hung up the phone, and I just looked at you, and I go, "Do you ever just feel like you shouldn't have been having a professional adult conversation with a living legend?" And that's how that was. I'm so grateful for her taking the time. Could listen to her forever, frankly.
About anything.
Anything.
We
didn't even get to the Kobe stories.
Didn't know that there were a whole bunch of Kobe stories to get to.
They're very close.
Yeah, like
very integral in the continued growth of the women's game. And
didn't wanted to talk to her more about the WNBA and what's going on over there. Get Kobe stories. Now we got to get Deion Sanders stories. And the thing that I love about, one of the things I love about Nancy Lieberman is it's just a part of the story. There's no pause or anything. It's just, so when I decided to come back, I love playing. I love when older players are playing. It reminds me of myself. And I was sitting there talking with Deion before Deion called me to see if he was going to play for the Ravens that last go-round. And blah, 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 blah. Like, wait a second, what? Not only does she know these people, they are like in constant communication. Like, they're legitimate friends. Like, so, I'm advocating for the community, and that's why blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And Cube was like, wait, Cube? Ice Cube? Hold up. Wait a second. What? You can't just drop those names in there like that.
Her son in Tel Aviv with NLE
Choppa.
Like,
what?
They're part of the family now. It's remarkable, and she's so generous with her time and so generous with helping future generations. Cannot appreciate it enough. Go out and check out that new Dream Court. We'll be sure to show images of it from the ribbon cutting later today. But that'll do it for today's show. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Before we go, I want to give a quick shout-out to my wonderful husband, Chris Luther. It's another big day in Memphis. The Seacrest Studios over at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital are opening, and that's what my husband has been working on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and today's a big day. So Grizz is going to be out there for the parade opening of Seacrest Studios, and maybe one of these days we'll get Chris on to talk about it, because is that nepotism? Does nepotism work with spouses?
No.
No?
If you're a woman, can you have nepotism? Like, can you have the giving of the nepotism?
Wepotism.
Oh,
it's women's nepotism.
Okay.
That doesn't sound right.
No,
I don't like that.
You've been saying a lot of stuff that doesn't sound right
I don't like
lately.
that. We'll be back tomorrow, everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you then.
So when is the Seacrest thing? When is that popping off?
Wednesday.
When's it?
Today.
Like what time?
I don't know. There's a parade. I don't get invited to these things.
I want to be there for the parade. Tell Chris I want to come to the parade. So text him right now and let me know.
Put a mascot. Grab one of those Vernon Show Masters Update mascots and just show up for the parade. It's supposed to be